College football rules are weird, like really weird. You can score a touchdown and get punished for it. You can call a fair catch, but if you use the wrong hand, it's a penalty. And don't even get me started on targeting. Today, we're diving into the strangest, dumbest, and most confusing rules in college football. Some of these are so broken, you'll wonder how they're still in the rulebook. 2. Keep things interesting. We'll break these down into 4 weird buckets. 1. First up, rules that make sense, until they don't. These rules start off simple, then the rulebook pulls a plot twist, starting with the fair catch kick. Alright, picture this. Your team just caught a punt at midfield. Everyone's hyped because you've got good field position, and the other team's coverage players are jogging off to the sideline thinking the next play will be a normal one. But instead of the offense lining up for a pass or run, your kicker calmly walks out onto the field, sets the ball down at the exact spot where you caught the punt, and gets ready to take a free shot at the goalposts. This special move is called the fair catch kick, and it's one of football's weirdest hidden rules. Here's how it works. In the NFL and high school football, but not college anymore, if your team calls a fair catch on a punt, you can line up right there and try a free kick for 3 points from that exact spot. The defense must back up at least 10 yards and stand still. They're not allowed to rush in and block it like a normal field goal. So your kicker gets a clear shot at the uprights, almost like a penalty kick in soccer. If the kick goes through the goalposts, you get 3 points just like a normal field goal, and no extra time runs off the clock. If the kicker misses, no harm, the other team just gets the ball where you kicked it from. Simple in theory, but in reality, almost no one tries it. Why? Because the stars have to align. The punt has to land close enough for your kicker to have a real chance, usually inside the other team's 45-yard line. You also need just the right amount of time left, like only a few seconds before halftime or the end of the game. And your kicker needs a rocket leg. A great example is Cameron Dicker's 57-yard fair catch kick for the Chargers in 2024, the first successful one in nearly 50 years. College football scrapped this rule decades ago, since most coaches would rather run a normal play than gamble on this rare trick. So next time someone shouts, they should try a fair catch kick. Just know it's real, but it's basically football's hidden cheat code that almost never works. The one bounce onside kick. Most football fans know the onside kick is pure chaos. The ball dribbles 10 yards, everyone dives in like it's a shopping cart race on Black Friday, and sometimes the kicking team steals the ball back. But there's a strange twist. If the ball bounces once and then pops up into the air, the receiving team can call for a fair catch and end the madness right there. This rule treats a one-bounce kick just like a normal high kickoff. If the returner waves for a fair catch, he's protected, no tackles, no pileups, no free scramble for the ball. It doesn't matter if it travels 10 yards or 40 if it hops once and floats. Fair catch rules kick in. The reason for this is player safety. A ball bouncing off turf can shoot off in any direction, making players lunge into risky collisions. The fair catch rule lets one player take the catch without worrying about getting blindsided by a full-speed hit. Coaches don't love it, though. It kills the surprise element of a good onside kick, which is all about sneaking the ball back when the other team isn't ready. So, if you ever see the ball hop once and someone waves their hand up, that's it. The one-bounce onside kick turns into an automatic nope, and the receiving team keeps the ball safe and sound. Catch possession out of bounds in football? Pulling off a toe drag catch by the sideline looks awesome on TV, but it's not enough to just grab the ball in bounds. You have to keep holding it tight, even if you fall out of bounds. If you drop it after stepping out, the catch doesn't count. The refs call it incomplete. Think of the sideline as a fence. Once you cross it, the game doesn't stop instantly. The ball has to stay in your hands the whole time, even when you hit the ground outside the lines. If you bobble it and it touches the ground, it's no good, even if your toes were perfect. It's kind of like finishing dinner with 9 cups of chocolate milk in your belly. At the table, you're fine. But if you run to the bathroom and lose it there, well, it still counts. Same idea here. Dropping the ball out of bounds ruins your highlight catch. This rule keeps things fair so players can't fake a clean catch by losing the ball outside the lines. One exception: if a defender pushes you out while you have control, you're safe, the catch counts. But if you run out by yourself, you'd better hold on tight. So next time someone dives for the sideline, watch their hands. The grass outside could erase the whole play. Shading eyes for a fair catch. Rule calling for a fair catch in football is meant to be simple. When a player is about to catch a punt, he waves his hand high over his head to signal, "Don't hit me." This means the defenders must back off so he can catch the ball safely, but there's a small twist. The sun. If the sun is too bright, a player might lift his hand just to block the glare from his eyes. But the thing is, if he only shades his eyes and doesn't actually wave, it does not count as a fair catch. The ball stays live. If he drops it, the other team can grab it and take over. Think of it like putting your hand up to block the sun, but not wearing sunscreen. You still get burned. Same thing here. Shading your eyes doesn't protect you from getting tackled. This rule might sound strict, but it makes things clear for everyone. Players can wear eye black or visors to help see the ball better. Coaches remind to always wave clearly, no lazy signals. So next time you see someone standing under a high punt with the sun in their face, check for that wave. No wave means no safety net. And the sun just became the other team's secret weapon. 2. Rules that only exist in college football. Next, let's check out rules that only exist in college football. The quirks you won't see on Sundays but drive Saturdays wild. The targeting rule. The targeting rule in college football is there to protect players' heads and necks from dangerous hits. It started in 2008 and is still one of the most argued rules in the game because it's very strict. Targeting happens when a player hits another player's head or neck with too much force. This usually happens when someone lowers the top of their helmet, called the crown, and crashes into someone else. It's extra serious if the other player can't protect themselves, like a wide receiver looking up for the ball, a quarterback who just threw a pass, or even someone lying on the ground. Hitting them high is an instant problem. When refs call targeting, they always check the replay. If they see the player ducking their head or launching themselves straight at someone's helmet, the penalty stays. If confirmed, the player's team loses 15 yards and the player is kicked out of the game. If it happens in the second half, the player also misses the start of the next game. Some people think it's too harsh, but it helps stop concussions and neck injuries. Now coaches teach safer tackling. Keep your head up and don't use it like a battering ram. The minimum spike time rule in college football. Spiking the ball is what teams do to stop the clock fast. It gives them time for one more play, like a game-winning kick or a final pass. But there's a rule. There must be at least 3 seconds on the clock for a spike to count. If there are only 2 seconds or less, the clock keeps running and the game just ends. No more plays. This rule was added in 2013 because, before that, quarterbacks could snap and spike the ball with only 1 second left. Refs then had to guess if the spike happened in time, which caused lots of arguments and angry fans. So the NCAA made it clear, 3 seconds or more, or don't bother. Picture trying to text happy birthday at 11 hours 59 minutes and 58 seconds. If you're too slow, you miss it by a second. Same thing here. If the clock shows 2 seconds, you're out of luck. This rule means teams must get to the line quickly and be ready. It helps the defense too, since it stops the offense from magically saving extra time at the end. Some fans still hate it because it can ruin a last chance for a winning kick. So if your QB tries a spike with 2 seconds left, don't expect a miracle. In college football, once the clock's out, it's out for good. Duplicate jersey. College football, teams often have huge rosters, so sharing jersey numbers used to be pretty common. But too many duplicate numbers caused mix-ups for refs, broadcasters, and even fans trying to figure out who just made that tackle. Since 2020, the NCAA tightened things up. Now, only 2 players can share the same number, and they must play different positions, usually one on offense and one on defense. They can never be on the field at the same time. If they are, the ref throws a flag and the team gets a 5-yard penalty for the mix-up. Imagine if you and your sibling wore the same Halloween costume to a party. Fun for the photo, but confusing if both of you try to win best costume at the same time. Same idea on the football field. Refs don't want to guess which number 5 just blocked a kick. To give teams a bit more room, the NCAA also brought in number 0 as a legal option. So now, you might see a star safety rocking a big 0 on his chest. Just one more number to help coaches spread out the roster. These rules make scouting clearer and help refs avoid mistakes. So teams still get to juggle big rosters, but with fewer. Wait, which number 7 was that? Moments. It's a small tweak, but it keeps the chaos under control when the game's moving fast. 3. Rules that punish you for doing too well. Then we've got rules that punish you for doing too well. The ones that turn a good play into a heartbreak for no reason. The fumble touchback rule. The fumble touchback rule is one of those football quirks that can flip a game in a heartbeat. Here's how it works. If an offensive player fumbles or throws a backward pass and the ball goes out of bounds behind the goal line, it's either a safety or a touchback. If it happens in their own end zone, the defense gets 2 points. If it happens in the opponent's end zone, the defense gets the ball at the 20-yard line. No need to touch it. This rule stings because the defense doesn't even have to lift a finger to get rewarded. One clumsy stretch toward the pylon, and suddenly you're handing over the ball like a free gift. Picture running with a birthday cake, tripping at the door, and your neighbor gets the cake. Brutal. People argue it's too harsh, and maybe they're right. A lot of fans think the offense should just keep the ball at the 20 if it slips out in the opponent's end zone. It would keep players aggressive near the goal line without punishing honest effort with a turnover no one earned. But the rule sticks around because it makes players respect the end zone like sacred ground. Hold on to that ball or pay the price. That's the message point for rules. So weird. They feel made up. And finally, rules so obscure they feel made up. The ones that sound like urban legends but are hidden in the rulebook for real. 1-point safety. Roulette 1-point safety is one of those football things that sounds made up but is totally lit. Can only happen during an extra point or a 2-point conversion right after a touchdown. So first, your team has to score. Then line up for that bonus kick or 2-point try. Here's how it happens. Your team kicks for the extra point or tries to run or throw for 2. But let's say the kick gets blocked or the pass gets picked off. Now the defense has the ball and should run it back the other way to score 2 points for themselves. But sometimes, things get messy. If they panic, run the wrong way, or fumble the ball back into their own end zone and get tackled there, your team gets 1 point. This oddball play is called a conversion safety, but everyone just calls it the 1-point safety. Unlike a normal safety, which is worth 2. This one only gives 1 point because extra point plays can only add 0, 1, or 2 points, no more. This has never happened in the NFL but has popped up in college football a few times. Syracuse did it in 1971, Texas did it in 2004, and Oregon did it in 2013. So if you ever see a defender run backwards after blocking a kick, pay attention. You might see football's weirdest point show up on the scoreboard. The NCAA bagel rule was one of the weirdest rules in college sports. For years, schools could give athletes as many plain bagels, fruits, and nuts as they wanted. But there was one weird catch. It was not supposed to be spread with cream cheese or peanut butter. I mean, no spread, just dry bagels only. The reason was that the NCAA said a plain bagel was just a snack, but once you added a spread, it counted as a meal. Giving extra meals outside approved team dining times was not allowed. So if an athlete wanted cream cheese after practice, it could break the rules. Picture this. You're hungry after training. You grab a bagel, but there's a sign that says, no toppings. It's like giving out pizza, but saying, sorry, no cheese. Players, coaches, and fans thought it was silly, and they were right. In 2013, after people made fun of the rule for years, the NCAA finally got rid of the spread ban. Now athletes can have their bagels with cream cheese, butter, or whatever they like. The bagel rule is still talked about today because it shows how the NCAA once tried to control even tiny details like what goes on a bagel. It reminds people that sometimes the rules went too far, all over something as small as a scoop of cream cheese. College football is already chaotic, and these rules just make it worse. Which one shocked you the most? Drop it in the comments, or share any even dumber ones I missed. I might just roast your pick in the next video. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe. We break down the weirdest stuff in college football every single week.